Everyone, welcome to Latinas Uprising. This is a space for Latinas to talk about getting to law school, through law school, and how to establish a foundation as a new attorney. I'm Nubia, and I'm here to talk to you about the gap within family. This is not a very happy video, I'm sad to say, but I think it's one that's really important to discuss. So if you are a first-gen student, if your parents were immigrants or they never navigated higher ed, you might notice that when you are navigating higher ed, as you get further and further along your educational journey, you notice that your family does not understand your accomplishments. They don't understand your challenges because they just have never gone through it. That lack of understanding, it then becomes difficult to explain to them. You're essentially translating what you're going through, and they may not really get it still. And so the emotional support that you're really trying to obtain from them is just not coming to you in the ways that you would like. And that can be super frustrating. It can be so upsetting. It can be just sad. It really can be. I noticed this when I was studying for the bar. It was really difficult for me to explain it to my dad when we really only talked through email and text messages at the time. He doesn't live in this country, so he was completely disconnected from the educational system here, and not really understanding why the bar exam would be so important. My mom, who really always tried, still not really understanding the importance, or why, not necessarily the importance, but why I was so scared, because she knew I was smart. She knew that I've always excelled well with tests, and she didn't really get why this was such a big deal. And you know, the emotional support I wanted was just not there, and that was a little unfair also because on my end, because you know, they were doing the best they could, but it's just this lack of awareness and knowledge. And so that's just a reality that many of us who are going through this for the first time in our families are going to experience. How do you resolve this? I think there's really two tracks. If you have a healthy relationship with your family, semi-healthy at least, I think it's important that you try to maintain the lines of communication open. It is so easy, especially once you move on, you have your license and you're doing your cases. It is so easy to keep them out of the loop. You're an adult, you don't need to tell them anything, they don't need to know. And so you're doing all this great stuff in your career and they don't know it. And so you win an award, you win a recognition, you win a case, and they're never gonna know, but you're never giving them the opportunity to show you how and whether or not they can support you. So I really encourage that if you have a healthy relationship with your parents, rather than just saying, forget this is too much to explain in detail why this is an important win, try it and see if they're responsive. Look at how they respond to you. Like, maybe they will surprise you, and that has been the case for me. I really do my best to explain to my dad via text message, this is what I'm doing, this is why it's important, here's a link to the article in Spanish, so that he can really get a better understanding. And I am always so pleasantly surprised when he responds with really like happy text, and he's so proud of me. And I don't really know if he really gets what I'm going through, but I take it. This is how he's gonna show me his love and support. I'm gonna take it. It's not maybe 100% the way I would like it, but what can you do, right? Life is full of really complicated situations. And I do the same with my mom. I make sure that she's aware, and I try to make sure that she understands, and then I just take the level of emotional support they're able to give me. That works in a healthy-ish family dynamic. There are a lot of us too who experience situations where family is not just has a lack of understanding, but they are also dismissive on purpose. They are sometimes cruel, sometimes they're mean, sometimes they do things so that you can't go and do what you're supposed to be doing in school, and that is just completely unacceptable. And if you have that situation with your family, this is really the time where you need to start addressing boundaries and how you're going to set them. And I know that is so difficult to do in Latino families, in immigrant families. It's really difficult. But you owe it to yourself to make sure you are working on your goals without any extra barriers. And so if telling your family, your parents, about your test coming up when you know they're going to then try to plop childcare on you, or if you get some big award and they try to say that that's, you know, stupid or not worth their time, or they're purposely not going to go to celebrate it with you, and you know that's going to hurt you, then there is a value in kind of putting up a barrier and not sharing information, because ultimately these are folks that are supposed to be supporting you, and if they're not even trying, don't perpetuate the harm on yourself by giving them an opening and an opportunity to cause you harm. I often say don't go if the well is dry. So if you know the well is dry, if you know that there is no water, don't try to keep forcing it, because ultimately it only hurts you. And that's a really unfortunate space and situation to be in. And my heart goes out to you if that's what you've been experiencing at home, because we all deserve to have family and parents who are supportive of our goals. And if that's not what you're experiencing, I'm really sorry, because you deserve better. So you will notice that the higher you go up in your educational journey, the more the gap widens within the family being able to understand. And while it's not 100% up to you to lessen that gap, you should try your best, again, if it's a healthy relationship. And if it's not, then you need to really try your best of establishing those boundaries, as difficult as it may be, because you owe it to yourself, if they can't give you the emotional support you need, to give it to yourself. And sometimes those boundaries are exactly what you need. So this is not a super happy video, but this is an experience that many of us go through, unfortunately, because there will always be that disconnect, because you're going through something first that other people in your family just haven't gone through, and they just don't often know how to react. I think the silver lining here is that you will go through it and then you will know it. And so when you have children, think of the ways you'll be able to support them. Even if you don't have children, think of the ways you can support the youth in your family or the young professionals coming up behind you, the way that you'll be able to encourage them and support them in the ways their families can't if they're also first gen. Think about that and just think about the change that you'll be able to make. I think that is also very helpful. The ways that you can give back makes a difference in other people's journeys as well. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this is a space where we can really talk about the nitty-gritty, the good and the bad of being Latina lawyers. If you have questions about law school or practicing, please let me know in the comments below. Please make sure you follow latinasuprising.com. There's a lot of good info there. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.